It is finally acceptable to talk about Christmas. So as the video hinted, we're going to do that today. We're going to just discover what we can learn about Advent. You know, we're in a time of Advent now, and I don't know if you've noticed or if you've started to open yours, but there's lots of different Advent calendars out there. There's chocolate, always good. There's drinks, there's food, there's candles, there's storybooks, different storybooks, and they all count down to Christmas. So I started in the Bible, good place to start. And did you know it's not in there? Advent is not in there. But as Brian pointed to on Sunday night, Christmas also isn't in there. But it doesn't mean we can't learn from the festivities around us. Do you know, Jesus often took part in festivities and in cultural festivals. And he did so from a young age all the way through. It got me thinking that Jesus must have celebrated Passover knowing that he was the final Passover lamb, knowing that he was the final sacrifice. I mean, talk about inside information. But I believe in Jesus' example, he celebrated his festivals. He celebrated with his community and his family. And eventually in his later life, he actually used these festivities to teach them about God and about his plan, about his goodness. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at Advent and follow Jesus' example and learn from it. So there's two things I believe that we can learn from Advent. It's expectancy and eagerness. And we're going to look at those points today. Now, I'm not talking about the expectancy and the eagerness that I feel for Christmas in October. I'm not talking about the expectancy and eagerness we feel for our loved ones after a lockdown. Do you know what? It's even more than that. It's much deeper than that and much more important. So, expectancy. It's the 6th of December and still already some of us are physically tired. You know, we've been rushing around doing things, and that's on top of a pandemic and on top of normal life tiredness. Christmas just brings something about, doesn't it? The busyness of life at Christmas time. It just gets our bodies a little bit tired. And that's in 6 days. This time we become so busy. We become busybodies and we get distracted and we can lose sight of the real reason that we're doing it all. But also, if you're not physically busy, you can also be mentally busy, trying to remember things and do things and think of things. And sometimes it's exhausting, just the festivities of it all. And in the busyness, we can lose our expectancy. And instead, we're just trying to make it through to the 25th. But church, I want to say it's okay to be tired. It's okay to be tired. We all go through those seasons. We can be tired, but we must be aware. Throughout the Bible, God instructs us to stay aware, stay alert, keep watch, he says. Birgit led a brilliant evening on Wednesday speaking about this, fascinating study into it actually, and just about God's asking us to be aware about his timings and his plans. And ironically, in the month where it should be the easiest month to be a Christian, to tell God's story, it tends to be the month with so many distractions. It tends to be the month that we lose sight of the good news and the real meaning of Christmas that everyone is longing to hear. We can get so caught up in the busyness of Christmas, the to-do list, the to-bake list, the to-buy list, or the positive thoughts and the negative thoughts. Oh, Christmas won't be the same this year. Or, I don't like Christmas. That we forget the reason for it. The spirit is willing to seek God, but the flesh is weak and distracted by the world and our current situations and our current climate. Now, spoiler alert, we're going to jump to the end of Jesus' life now. And we're going to read a verse from the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus is about to lay down his life, and he gives a suggestion or a command, however you like to see it. He says, "Watch and pray, that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." I truly believe, church, that our spirits are willing to glorify God, willing that we want Christmas to just show the best and the most amazing testimony of what God has done for us, who he is in our lives. But let us not forget that the flesh is weak, and it often needs reminding of who is the king, who is in charge, who is calling the shots. Let's not let the festivities tempt us into taking our eyes off of Jesus. At the moment we are doing a Bible reading as a church, and that will be emailed to you or messaged to you on WhatsApp on a Friday by our lovely Sally. And it's looking at things that are so normal for Christmas and realising the God potential and the God story within that. And I encourage you to do that and to use that, because it's looking at things that are so Christmassy but actually so full of God as well. The Bible tells us in Psalm 24 verse 1, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. Can I encourage you, let's expect to see God in everything this Christmas. Sometimes we can just get caught up, we all do it, and we can miss what he's trying to teach us and trying to show us during this time. And the second thing I wanted to highlight today is eagerness. It means strongly wanting to do or have something. As we hear children at Christmas time, we hear eagerness in their voices, don't we? And Anaya every morning this week has run in and she said, "Mummy, Daddy, can we watch the Advent video?" The kids' church are doing an amazing Advent video, so if you haven't checked them out already, make sure you do. They're on their website. You can hear it in their voice, can't you? And I believe that we can have the same eagerness that they have, that excitement and the eagerness. We can have it for Christ, we can have it for Jesus, and we can have it for his good news. At Christmas, Advent shows us that we can have an eagerness for God, to know him, to be with him. I think of David, and Adam said last week, David prayed a prayer, God, please don't take your spirit from me. It's a yearning that nothing else will do. God, we just want you. Advent points to eagerness so readily. As we are eager for the festivities of Christmas, how much more eager should we be for our God that they are all about? He is the reason for those festivities. There's such a great example of eagerness in the Bible. I want to share it with you today. And you know, that story is because God was so eager to show you, yes, you and me, that he loves us. He laid his glory by. I think of the carol, "Hark the herald angels sing." It says, "Mild he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die." Do you know, he came so that we may have a direct link to the Father. You know, sometimes I feel we can get so over familiar with that. And Christmas and the lead up to Christmas is just a time to remind us how incredible that is, that he laid his glory by so that me and you could have a relationship with him. How can we be blasé about God coming down to earth? I was reading a book and I just want to share a snippet with you because it puts it so well. The book is by a theologian, Timothy Keller, and it's called Hidden Christmas. But let me just read it for you. He says, "He is the everlasting Father, which means he is the creator, and yet he is born. There's nothing like this claim in any other major religions. He is a human being. However, he's not just some kind of avatar of divine principle. He is God. It's almost too limiting to say that we celebrate this at Christmas. No, we stare, dumbstruck, lost in wonder, love and praise." It goes on later to say that if Jesus really is mighty God and everlasting Father, you can't just like him. In the Bible, the people that actually saw and heard Jesus never reacted indifferently or even mildly. Once they realised what he was claiming about himself, either they were scared of him, furious with him, or they knelt before him and worshipped him. But nobody simply liked him. Nobody said, "He was so inspiring, he makes me want to live a better life." No, if the baby born at Christmas is mighty God, then you must serve him completely. If Christmas really shows us the eagerness of the Creator God to have a relationship with me and you, there needs to be a response to that. And at Christmas, what a better time to remind ourselves of that response and to continually make that response. In the clip earlier, it said, Christmas, it's not you, it's me. And it's true. It's not the role and the responsibility of all the festivities to keep our relationship with God. No, if we know the truth of who he is, then it is on us to be expectant to meet with him, to meet with a God who is so eager to meet with us. So this morning I ask you, what is your response? In just a second, there will be a video playing, and the words are just a beautiful prayer from our hearts to an eager God.